Thank you. Safe and happy sleep. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Let me know if you can see and hear me okay, please. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for your understanding of my flexible start time. 10-ish, which today means 10:30. Okay, so as I wait for confirmation, if you can see and hear me, I will introduce what we are doing today. This is going to be a group energy healing where I heal 120 people in 11 different countries. No, 12 countries, actually. And the theme of this is the first in the set of 3 healings. So this is the July 2022 triplet set, healing 1 of 3. And the theme is communications, find your voice. So I am excited about that. Ooh, I'm getting confirmations. Thank you. Can see and hear you. Hi from Chicago. Good morning from Vegas. Can see and hear you in Chicago. Yay, yay, yay. Thank you, everybody. You're amazing. Yes, it is a little bit of a chilly morning here. We had a 3-day heat wave, and now it's back down to 50 degrees, which, for those of you not on the antiquated Fahrenheit temperature system, 50 degrees is 10 degrees Celsius. Have my temperature conversion chart. Rock and roll. So anyway, it's going to be a really good healing. I'm looking forward to it. The subtitle, I guess, it was a really long title that the angels had me make for this triplet set. Communications, find your voice, clear mental chaos and blocks, enhance desire and ability to communicate. So that pretty much says it all. I don't even have to say anything after that. That's everything we could do. So it'll be good. We're of course going to do the fundamental stuff first, because otherwise you're just wasting your time if you're leaking a bunch of energy and your chakras are busted. You got to take care of that stuff. So we'll do the 4 essentials that I've been harping on lately: wide and flowing grounding, aura repair of all 17 auras, chakra repair of major and minor chakras to the body and spirit, and creative ring repair. 4 essentials. So we will of course do those. And then I'm going to be pretty spontaneous about how we address the theme. Like the angels will show me a sample person, and then I'll see how they need their communications, healed, and then that's how I'll do it for everybody. So I will be pretty spontaneous about the theme related healing stuff and how we do it. So if you're watching later, you can just look in the comment section. I will have a detailed healing summary posted there within a day with timestamp links. So you can see what we did and jump around with the links if you wish. Getting more locations, that's nice. We can see and hear you. Canada Day for us Canadians. Well, congratulations on Canada Day. I'm so jealous of your healthcare and your gun control. Someone says, hi Janet, from Phoenix. Hello, hello. Someone says, nice to see you and follow this love session. Well, you are welcome to watch and heal yourself as you watch. I do 5 of these live streams every month. There's the set of 3 healings, which is what we're doing right now. Well, we're doing the first of the 3, and then in 2 days on Sunday we'll do the second healing, and then Tuesday do the 3rd healing. So Friday, Sunday, Tuesday, and then on the 3rd Sunday of each month, that's when the twin set starts. So this month that is, I don't have my calendar page turned over yet. I love turning calendar pages, but I've just been so focused on getting ready for this triplet set, I didn't turn my calendar page yet. But anyway, I can look it up, I guess. 17th and 19th. That's what I thought. July 17th and 19th is the twin set. And the theme of that will be empowerment, be your own authority. So very nice. Now, communications is interesting. Some people get confused with communications and they think it's just like blurting out what you are thinking or feeling at the moment. And that's not necessarily the case. I mean, communications, sort of I would say a more evolved sense of communication is a mindful communication. So you're not necessarily, speaking your mind every second you need to, every second you could, for example, well, there are different examples, but sometimes, people aren't open to the level of communication that you might do, and then you might spark a conflict, which might not be in your best interest. So there's, weighing all those things. But we'll get to all that. The mindfulness of it versus the knee-jerk reaction communications. So I'm looking forward to that. The geeky stats of where everybody is. I promise I will get to the healing part, but this part's fun too. Of the 120 people in 12 different countries, 14 of those people are kids, ages 3 to 17. So the kids generally don't watch, but if they did, hello. But more like, hats off to the adults that are thoughtful enough to pay for their kids to get healings. That's impressive. And of the 120 people, 93 are in the US, 7 are in Qatar, 4 are in Canada, 3 are in the Ukraine, 3 are in United Arab Emirates, 2 in Bermuda, 2 in the UK, 2 in Spain, 1 in Germany, 1 in South Korea, 1 in India, and 1 person in Japan. So hello to all the people that I will be healing. Hello. Whether you watch live or later, or not at all. Hello anyway. And then to anyone watching live right now, hello. And if you didn't purchase this healing 2 months ago when it was on sale, then obviously you're welcome to just watch and learn and heal yourself as you watch. If you purchase the healing, you can heal yourself at the same time as well. You don't get in my way at all, of course, by healing yourself at the same time. But you can also just relax or clean your house or sleep or whatever you want to do while I'm healing you. So let's see. Got a hello from Madrid, Spain. Hello. And Ottawa, Canada. Hello. Hi to everyone. Thanks for your hellos and your emojis. Very, very cute. Thank you so much. All right. Exciting. Yeah, I think too, the angels are mentioning about nonverbal communication. And I mentioned to someone recently the turtle exercise, which is a way of clearing inner energy blocks to so that you don't feel the need to sort of hide and push people away subconsciously. If you clear your most vulnerable energy blocks that make you feel like you don't want to be around anyone or communicate with anyone, then your natural, more charismatic or engaging parts of you are more what people can sense on subconscious spirit levels. And so people tend to have a much more positive communication towards you because of what they're receiving subconsciously from you. So this set does work that kind of level as well. The subconscious communications with telepathy, but just with your energy. The state of your energy does sort of emit, a sound, a feeling to people around you, even if you're not sending your energy anywhere. It's perceivable by people, and so that is a form of subconscious communication. So it's good that we have 3 healings to to explore all this kind of thing. um, like small personal example. When I was younger, what am I now? 52. But when I was probably more like 23, 24, there was this woman at work, and she felt like I was pissed at her, and I wasn't at all. I didn't consciously really have any thoughts one way or another, but she felt like I had this sort of like, excuse my French, but like resting bitch face towards her, and stuff. And it turned out that I did have subconscious anger towards my mother that was sort of emitting towards women in general. And so it was making my interactions with women in general a lot less positive than they could be. So, that's an example of how subconscious inner states can affect your communications, even though you don't know it's happening, or you might not realize it's happening. So if you do, so anyway, it's something that we can work on. All right, yay! Communication, woo woo woo. All right, and of course, past life stuff too. Past life baggage can affect all that, the interstate stuff, your ability to communicate, your desire to communicate, your mental clarity, all that stuff. So when we clear baggage in this set, it's of course going to be present and past life. But I just wanted to mention that because sometimes you might not know why you have a certain block, but it could be from a past life. But it's easy to clear. Okay, so enough talking for now. So now we'll have quiet time for like probably 3 minutes total, during which time I will be quiet, thankfully, and I will finish my little prep, and I will say hi telepathically, which is non-verbally, to the 120 people that I'm about to heal, just to make sure that they are aware that the healing is about to start, and on the subconscious level. And then when I do start healing, I won't talk for the first minute. You'll see me move my hands like that, which is usually because I'm usually checking aura stuff first. So you'll know that I'm healing at that point. But then, soon after that, I will start talking and explaining as I go. And the rest of the live stream, most of the live stream, I'm doing the healing and I'm explaining as I go. So it's an all levels walkthrough. So if you're a newbie, you're welcome to follow along. You'll probably understand a good deal of it, and so you could give yourself a decent healing just by winging it and following me along. And if you're advanced, of course, as well, there could be a lot of interest in a lot that you might find interesting. Okay, cool. Oh, and if you're just watching this later and you realize like, oh my God, it's 2 hours long. This is crazy. I do have a lot of much smaller videos. For example, I was doing one that was actually kind of recommended by a client because she commented under it recently. It's called Quick Energy Reset. And it does a lot of stuff in like 17 minutes. So if you're half listening while you do other stuff, you may miss some of it, just because I go pretty fast and I do a lot of stuff, but it's really neat. So there's a lot of videos like that, shorter, much shorter ones that cover a lot of ground. So that one is Quick Energy Reset, which I think is nice. It does unblocking your spiritual path. It does GVCV meridians of the body. It does some aura work. It does chakra unblocking. It does a lot. But anyway, okay. So now I will finally shut up. Thank you for your patience during this couple minutes of quiet. Abel, cut it out. All right, thank you for waiting. So when you heal yourself, a very effective way to do it is to create a copy out in front of you of what you're healing. So with your intention, with your thought, you make it so you don't have to be able to see energy yet to do it. You just create with your intention a copy of yourself out in front of you. So your 17 auras, your physical body, your astral body is inside there. Your grounding, two groundings, one for your physical body and your physical body aura, one for your astral body and your astral body aura. So you have your groundings, which connect you to the core of the earth. And use your hands to comb through. So you have a hand chakra in the palm of each hand, and then fingertip chakras in the front, each fingertip, one in each fingertip. And chakras have round openings, and you just set the round openings to a metallic gold color, like this glitter. And that's with your intention, so you don't have to be able to see energy. And so that means that as the chakra naturally spins and it naturally generates energy, the color of the energy it generates would be a metallic gold color. And metallic gold is a good vibration for healing and repairing and letting go. So that's why we're using it. So comb through all your auras. You have your 2 regular auras and your 15 Wei Qi auras, which help with strong boundaries. Wei Qi auras is spelled Weichi, Wei Qi auras. So anyway, you comb through all your 17 auras. They're in the same place. My dog Abel is very vocal and he freaks out a lot. So right now he's having a battle with his pillow. So hope you don't mind the sound effects. That's Abel versus pillow. Rage is on. Let's see who is the victor. Let's do grounding. So go ahead and recreate your grounding, make it wide as your whole aura. So about as wide as the heel of the palm of your hand if you stretch out your arms. And make your grounding red or orange or yellow. You can try out red grounding. And when I say try it out, you create it to be as wide as your whole aura, all the way around in front and behind you, and all the way down to the core of the earth. So it stays wide all the way down. So see how the red grounding works for you. And then make it orange. Deep breath. See how the orange grounding feels. And then make it yellow and see how your yellow grounding feels. And then just pick one of those 3 colors to use and stick with that for your grounding for now. And then you have a mini copy of your grounding that you make out in front of you, and you comb through that with the gold light to unclog your grounding. Unblock it. A lot of times if you get really stressed, your grounding can get narrow and blocked. Obviously that's not good. So just comb through it and melt away the blocks and make sure it expands again. So it's as wide as your whole aura, like a giant waterfall. So you just keep imagining the blocked parts and you melt those blocks with gold light so that you get better and better and better downward flow in your grounding. And then let's do indie grounding. So that's where you check the outer surface of your grounding as it goes all the way down, and you melt away any attachments from your grounding to other people's grounding. Sometimes in stress or thinking that somebody's helping you, or for various subconscious reasons, people will link up grounding, but it doesn't help. It just blocks up everybody's grounding then. So so it's good to double check that from time to time. So again, indie grounding, you're just using gold light and melting away the connections around that outer surface. So there's no link up between your grounding and other people's grounding. All right, good job. Let's see, what do we want to do next? Let's do aura repair of all 17 auras. So those are around you, right? All around you, right? So let's just imagine a copy of that out in front of you, your 17 auras, and just comb through with gold light. What we're going to be doing with aura repair is the rips. We're going to help those to grow back so that you don't have any more rips, because rips leak energy and that causes a big problem. So you can just get a sense of how leaky you are, how many rips you have in these 17 auras. Just get an overall sense of that. And then to heal them, the most probably time efficient way is with composite copy technique. So we're going to imagine one rip that represents all the rips that you need to repair in your 17 auras. And as you repair that one rip, that repairs all the rips, because it's a copy, it's a representative copy of all of them. And your intention is that's the way it goes, and so it works. It's cool. So you have your composite copy rip, and use gold light and scrub it out. You can use sticky gold wax to get everything out, all the junk out from this rip. So fill it up with gold light from your hands and make it sticky gold wax, meaning it just hardens up and sticks to whatever's not you. And then you lift out that chunk of junk with the gold light, gold wax, and give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. So again, sticky gold wax, fill up the rip with sticky gold wax, take out the junk and the wax. Angels, here you go. So then you can finish the repair with the gold light. And you want to use so much gold light that you're kind of blasting out any junk and debris that collected up in the ripped parts, so that it grows back and repairs. Okay, and so that's repairing the rips, and then you can have leftover scarring at the edges where the rip was, and that's like a hard bumpiness, and we don't want that, because that weakens your aura strength. So you can just imagine all your aura scarring, copies of it, lump it all in one spot, and then melt all the aura scarring all at once. So imagine all your aura scarring all in one spot, and then just melt it with gold light. And keep breathing. Stay present. You wiggle your toes, feel how that feels. You move around a little, feel your body as you work. The reason we melt the aura scarring is so we want a bouncy strength, and the edge of your aura, we don't want hardness, because hardness will actually rip much more deeply and sooner than a bouncy strength will, you know, when someone throws energy. So what are we doing? We are finishing up melting the aura scarring. Okay, so that was melting aura scarring. So there's a similar thing that can happen more in the inner aura layers of the two regular auras. It can happen anywhere, but just not only at the edge. And that's aura bruising. And it also is a remnant of having had energy thrown at you. It's just like hard plates of energy, and it can be several layers at once. So just like with scarring, just lump all your aura bruising in one spot. Copies of all your aura bruising, lump it together, and then melt it with gold light. Okay, so that was melting or bruising. If you have any left over, just say, angels, help me clear this. Let's do sticky gold wax all through everything. Part of why we want to do that is because you can have hard objects stuck in anywhere in a chakra, in one of the auras, hard objects that people have thrown at you. So you just use that gold light from your hands and make a sticky gold wax so it hardens and sticks to whatever's not you. So put that around the outer surface of all your 17 auras, and then inside all your 17 auras, and then inside your physical body, your astral body, chakras, the energy channels, inside your grounding, around the outer surface of your grounding. You want to have it stick to anything that you want to get rid of. So even energy blocks, invasive beings, but also especially hard energy objects. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to move the wax and the junk out and give it to your angels. So just keep the copy of you in place and move out the wax and the junk. Angels, here you go. Deep breath. Let's do that again. Sticky gold wax everywhere, around the outer surfaces especially of your auras and your groundings, but also inside everywhere. We're going to move out the wax and the junk. Angels, here you go. Give it to your angels. Okay, so now we're going to finish the repair because some of those hard objects, you know, without them, then you have a little gash where the hard object was. So we'll finish up the repair of the outer surface of all the 17 auras. And we'll finish up repair of the GV and CV meridians real quickly too. Those are body meridians that go up the midline. One goes up the midline of the back, one goes up the midline of the front. You can imagine them like red tubes, and you don't want the red tubes to leak. So you just use gold light to repair those red tubes. The GV meridian links around, once it goes up, it links around to the roof of your mouth. I have videos on that stuff. Anyway, so we're just repairing the GV and CV meridians real quickly because they may have had hard objects stuck in them and we just got rid of those objects. So it's a nice time to do the repair. So repair everything basically. All the auras. And yeah, so that's finishing up aura repair. We did the sticky gold wax to remove the hard objects, and then we just finished repair, finished aura repair. And I threw in a quick CVGV repair. So redo your goal. Well, actually, before you redo your gold buffer zones, you could check them out too and just see. Like a gold buffer zone is you can create it at the edge of your aura, and it's just a giant force field of gold light that you make, and it's a buffer, so it catches the force of whatever's thrown at you, and it rips before your aura rips. So your aura is less likely to rip because it has to, you know, that whack has to go through the buffer first. So you can just check out your buffer and see how beat up it is, your gold buffer zones. Just for your information, and then just get rid of the old buffers and make some new gold buffer zones. And if you don't know about that, I do have an 18-minute video that walks you through making them, and then once you learn how to make them, you learn how to redo them in an instant by the end of that little video. So they're pretty handy. They're good for making life a little more gentle. Yay! All right, so that's gold buffer zones. We just redid those. Speaking of making life more gentle, creative ring repair. So creative rings are above your head, 1, 2, 3, 3 gold rings, 1, 2, 3, and they can get smashed, completely shattered. They can get cracked. You know, someone can cord them and send a lot of force to them, and that cracks them or shatters them. Someone can just kind of hack through the top of your aura, and of course that would could damage them depending on how deep the aura damage went. So when your creative rings are damaged, life does seem much more overwhelming. Which, you know, it's a good example of the power of energy healing, because it's like you didn't really change your life. You still have the same challenges in your life, but with your creative rings repaired as opposed to broken, you're much more ready for your life, you know, ready to deal with it. So it's interesting. So anyway, make a copy of your 3 gold creative rings out in front of you and check them out. Are they shattered? Are they cracked? What's going on with them? Are they just gummed up with a lot of junk? And first, let's do the repair. So lots of gold light, especially around any broken parts, and just let the gold light bathe the broken parts so that they grow back naturally together. So you want 3 separate gold rings stacked on top of each other with space in between them. Okay, and as you do this, you've been sort of naturally melting away the cords going into those rings, but you can, you know, be conscious and mindful of that as well. So just check out these creative rings and see if anybody's cording into them. Generally, people do that with a pair of cords. You can have invasive beings corded to them, or people. You can just melt the cords if you're in a rush and don't worry about who they're from. The more cords you melt away, the more the creative rings can relax. And your life can seem much more manageable. And suddenly you can focus and finish your own thought, which really helps. So as you're melting away the cords and your creative rings relax, what that looks like is then the creative ring flaps. There are these flaps around the outer surface of the creative ring, each creative ring, and when they're irritated and open, that's a more overwhelming sense. And as you melt away the cords and melt away energy blocks, sort of jamming these little flaps open, then the flaps get more and more closed and flush with the ring, so that when the ring is finally fully relaxed, you don't notice the flaps anymore because they're fully closed, and so the outer surface is really smooth. So that's the ideal. And so you just keep kind of relaxing and unblocking and melting cords until, especially that top creative ring, the flaps are fully closed. And that usually sets off a very nice chain reaction where the other creative rings below that relax more, and then all the chakra flaps of your chakra openings, which looks similar to that drawing, you know, the round opening and then the flaps, and so they can relax and shut as well. The flaps can shut. So you still have good flow in and out of the chakra, but you don't have those open flaps, and therefore the chakra is a lot harder to cord from other, you know, other people have a hard time manipulating you, and the chakra flows better and works better, and you can be more present. So we can do a little extra chakra creative ring unblocking. So again, those 3 creative rings, we just relax the flaps. So let's just unblock, just imagine energy blocks in and around the flaps or in and around each ring, and just lift out the blocks. And if you're healing yourself, you can just blow up these blocks once you lift them out, or hand them to your angels. Angels, here you go. So again, lift out the blocks. Angels, here you go. Lift out blocks around your creative rings. Angels, here you go. All right, good job. So chakra repair is the 4th in the 4 essentials that we'll be doing. Now you have a lot of chakras. I call them major and minor chakras to differentiate. But you know, sometimes people think, well, I have 7 chakras, right? Well, you know, you have more than that. You have 7 chakras along your physical body spine, and then you have 7 chakras along your astral body spine. So technically you have 2 sets of 7 chakras. I call those 7 chakras your major chakras, just because those are the ones people know about, and size-wise, they're bigger. But then you have all these amazing chakras that are very important and helpful all over your physical body and your astral body. So acupuncture chakras all over the place. Acupuncture points, those are all little chakras in your toes and everywhere. They're really amazing. Also larger ones, like in your, to keep the flow of energy down your neck and your shoulders and your arms. Minor chakras around each joint to keep the energy flowing through them nicely. So you do have a lot of chakras. So let's repair them all and unblock them all at one time, because that saves time. So you imagine one composite copy representing all your major and minor chakras of your body and spirit. The basic chakra shape is an open cylinder. So cylinder part, round opening, round opening. Okay, so you make a copy of, you know, one chakra, and with your intention, you say, okay, this represents all my major and minor chakras, and then you use gold light to repair this composite copy. So what does damage look like? Cracks, missing pieces, gashes that shouldn't be there, scratches that shouldn't be there. So you just use gold light, and that repairs it. So just as much gold light as you can, just kind of, you get in there to inside that open cylinder. Imagine energy blocks in there, kind of like mud, or I don't know, hard crackers, and melt them away with gold light. So keep repairing. And sometimes too, there are so many energy blocks and junk and cords and whatever that it blocks the repair process. So you can imagine all that junk and just lift it out, give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. More junk, lift it out. Angels, here you go. Because you want to be able to get really good access to the chakras to repair them fully. And again, this is all your major and all your minor chakras. So all the acupuncture points, all the chakras in your energy channels, everywhere. Lots of gold light. And again, let's unblock a little more, because that helps the repair process too. Lift out those blocks. Angels, here you go. Lift out more energy blocks. Angels, here you go. And of course, melt cords. from anybody. The only cord that I ever suggest people keep is if you are personally the parent of a young child that's 13 or younger. Generally, there's a first chakra cord between the parent and that child, just while they're young, but only at the first chakra. If you have more cords than that with your young kid, it can be controlling and get in the way of their healthy maturing. So lots of gold light. So again, any energy blocks that are healthy and gentle to get rid of right now, just lift those out. Give them to your angels. Angels, here you go. More of them, lift them out. Angels, here you go. So your intention is that you want to clear and repair and heal to the extent that's healthy and gentle to do right now. Okay, and now we'll just do a little bit more for the theme that we have for the healing, which is communications, find your voice, clear mental chaos and blocks, enhance desire and ability to communicate. So there could be energy blocks in these chakras in the way of all that. So any blocks in the way of your communicating or mental clarity, etc., lift those out, give them to your angels. Angels, here you go. Lift out any blocks in the way of your healthy communicating. Lift them out. Angels, here you go. That includes, like, with that turtle exercise, like any blocks that are making you just sort of want to tell everyone to go away, get away. Just lift out those energy blocks, give them to your angels. Angels, here you go. Sometimes there's just energy that gets dumped in these chakras, or it's just left over from a past life. You didn't clear it, and it's in the way of your mental clarity. You're communicating with yourself and others. So just lift out that old junk. Angels, here you go. Lift out some more old junk, blocking your communications. Angels, here you go. And you can keep doing this until you feel like, yep, that's it. I unblocked enough that, you know, that's a good amount for now, and that'll help me optimize my communications. Okay, good job. So that was chakra repair and unblocking in general and for the theme. So we did our 4 basics, our 4 essentials to sort of feel good, which is grounding, aura repair, creative ring repair, and chakra repair, right? So the 4 essentials. I'm going to unblock the inner layers a little more. A good diagnostic, I think, to practice for anybody is you measure the width of each aura layer. Your 2 regular auras, you measure the width of each aura layer. So like 7th layer, how wide is it? 6th layer, 5th layer, 4th layer, 3rd layer, 2nd layer, 1st layer. So you want them all to be very wide and flowing, right? And so you can have one that's even more wide than the others, say if you're using that ability more right now, but you don't want any aura layers to be really like compressed and tight, because that way there's going to be a lot more energy blocks. It's just going to be harder for you to be present. So you can intuitively measure each aura layer. Just be like, okay, 7th layer, 6th layer, 5th layer, 4th layer, 3rd layer, 2nd layer, 1st layer. Oh my goodness, my 2nd and 1st layers are too tight. Those are the ones closest to your body. And so you can just imagine unblocking, especially up top and here, in order to unblock the whole 2nd and 1st layer quickly. You can just unblock the very bottom and the very top. And that usually will do it for you. Okay. There is a video, it will be linked below later, probably in the comment section under the healing summary, called Get Present in 2nd and 1st Chakras, which does a lot of that kind of cool stuff to get you more present in your lower chakras, 2nd and 1st chakras specifically. So now I'm going to look at a sample person to see what we're doing next. So I'll be quiet for about a minute as I'm reading somebody that the angels want me to read. So just chill out for a second. Okay, thanks for waiting. So I was looking at a sample person, and she's in her late 20s, and there's a lot that she wants to think about consciously, and a lot she wants to express to others, but more like it's like she just wants to be really much more aware and have more clarity of like her own potential and the possibilities in her life and what she cares about and how she wants to spend her time, all sorts of things. And but when she gets awake and close to her physical body, what happens is she has some energy blocks in her 5th layer of her aura, which relate to the 5th chakra, and that's for communication. So communication, 5th chakra, and 5th layer of the aura. When she gets awake and present, these energy blocks from her dad in her 5th layer kind of dominate her thoughts on a subconscious level. So it narrows the range of what she's able to be conscious of and think about in her life by like from 100% down to like about 35%, just because these energy blocks are really sort of upstaging her mind. And so then it just kind of harshes her mellow, basically. It just sort of changes the vibration significantly. So her dad doesn't mean to block her up. Parents tend to, they're trying to say, well, like, this is what I wish someone told me when I was in my 20s, or, something. It's easy for people to teach and mentor in a very invasive way. And they probably don't mean to. Some people do mean to be invasive, and they're more of like a controlling parent, and so they don't really want their child to go their own way. They want their child to go the way they feel is best for their child. So they are intentionally being controlling. But sometimes people are accidentally being controlling. So, but anyway, either way, what we can do is clear out these sort of upstaging energy blocks from other people that are in your 5th chakra and or your 5th layer, so that you as a spirit can think what you want to think and be aware of what you want to be aware of consciously. So because 5th chakra, 5th layer is communications with others, but it's so much more. It's your inner thoughts. It's your ability to hear your own angels on subconscious and conscious levels. It's your own nonverbal communication with others. It's talking to tree fairies and hearing your dogs telepath you about dinner all day. which is not as exciting as you might think. But anyway, so let's see. Let's see what energy blocks are upstaging your ability to, use your fifth chakra and your fifth layer the way you want, right? So let's just make a big old blanket out in front of you and just dump onto it. What energy, and you don't have to know what they are, but just imagine dumping onto it energy blocks that are in your fifth chakra and or fifth layer. And they're really upstaging what you want to think about, what you want to, hear. They're just hogging up space in your fifth chakra and your fifth layer. And you just imagine them like lumps or mountains or piles out in front of you. And you can organize them too, like if they're all from one person or if they're from different people, make little piles. If they're from 10 people, just have them in 10 piles, just so you can kind of realize like, oh, wow, they're mostly from my mom, or, oh, gee, that's interesting. They're from like 5 different friends of mine, and so just kind of have your intuition organize them a little so you just learn a little bit about where this junk is from. You don't have to do it that way, but it's kind of interesting. So then you can say, angels, is it okay to clear all this? And of course your angels are like, are you kidding? Yes, please. And then if you're healing yourself, you can just blow it all up, or you can melt it with cold light. And you can do more of that. So the same blanket or a new gold blanket out in front of you, whatever you want, and just dump onto it anything from your fifth chakra and your fifth layer that's in the way of your communications freedom. And just dump all that out and then say, angels, can you check all this? See if, is it okay for me to clear all this? And then if you want, you can organize it in piles to figure out if it's from one person or a whole bunch of people. And then go ahead and blow it up if you're healing yourself, or melt it all with gold light. If you have any left over, just say, angels, help me clear this. All right, so what was that? That was just a blanket exercise to clear sort of upstaging blocks in fifth chakra and fifth layer. So it's sort of like just a type of unblocking that we did. So I'm going to be quiet and look again at a sample person. So, okay, so another thing we can do that could really help is to clear avoidance. Well, clear what you're avoiding. Because you can have things that you want to think about, like, okay, say you had some kind of an uncomfortable experience, an event or a time period in your life that was more challenging, and you're consciously really trying not to think about it. Like it's just not what you want to think about. You feel like it's going to tank your mood, tank your whole month, or, you're going to be depressed forever if you think about it, right? But the problem is, chances are it's like smack in the middle of your mind. It's just it's there. So even if you try to pretend it's not there, it's there. So it can jam up your mind and the flow of what you want to think about, because you're so busy like not seeing it and not being aware of it. It takes a lot of energy to repress thoughts. So what we can do is we can just clear the blocked energy so that then there's nothing to repress, so that you don't have to play this game of like, you know, I don't see that, I'm not thinking about that. So clear what you're avoiding or repressing as far as your thoughts. And again, that is to sort of free your mind. So you can think what you want, and because thought and communications are like two sides of the same coin. So we need to kind of free up your mind so that we can free up your communications. So we'll just do blanket exercise. Well, let's see, what would be fun? Okay, I looked at a sample person and he doesn't want to clear what he's avoiding on a blanket, because then he would see it while it's on the blanket, you know, like the second before he clears it. So what we could do is put what you're avoiding like into boxes and then blow up the box. So you're still kind of not seeing it. So we'll make gold boxes. How about that? So rather than gold blanket exercise, we'll do gold box exercise. All right, so make a whole bunch of gold boxes out in front of you and leave the top off so you can shove into it thoughts, subconscious and conscious thoughts that you're avoiding, things you really, really, really don't want to think about, and then quick put the tops on them. Put the gold tops on them. And then just say, angels, is it okay to clear all these? And then you can blow them up with the top on, so you don't even have to think about it while you're blowing it up, okay? Or if you're not healing yourself, don't blow up other people's boxes, of course. Just melt away with gold light. So this is the gold box exercise, where you're putting in the boxes things you don't want to think about, and then you're clearing them. So you don't have to spend all that energy repressing it and avoiding. If you have any leftovers, say, angels, help me with these. Okay, let's do that again. More gold box exercise. So make a whole bunch of gold boxes out in front of you. They could be like giant, like gold dumpsters if you want. But make a whole bunch of gold boxes out in front of you and put into them energy blocks or the energy of different thoughts you really don't want to have, but you do have, you know, like whatever thoughts, you know, of bad times you've had or whatever traumatic thoughts, put them all in the gold boxes and then put the tops on them. Put the gold box tops on them. And say, angels, is it okay to clear all these? And then go ahead, and if they're yours, you can blow them up. Make sure to thoroughly blow them up, or just melt them with gold light. If you have any leftovers, say, angels, help me clear these. So we just saved you a lot of energy, because now you don't have to keep avoiding those thoughts because they're gone. The energy blocks that generate those thoughts are gone, so you could just chill out more. Yay. So I'm going to look again at another sample person. Okay, so I looked at another sample person, and for her, she's been through a lot in this year, and so she's kind of fried, you know, like there's just too much going on. And so what we can do to help her and help all of us is to isolate the most traumatized parts of you and give those parts of you a healing. So not to feel that stuff, but just if you heal that part of you that most needs the healing, it's very strengthening, right? Rather than just being like, gosh, why can't I work out, or why can't I, you know, clean my desk, or why can't I be more productive? You know, a lot of times there are parts of you that are not really up to it. And so let's heal those specific parts of you, right? How does that relate to communicating? Well, I mean, a lot of times if you're overwhelmed, you just kind of shut down. You don't say anything. You know, it's just, you just turn off, kind of. And so that's why we want to help those parts of, I mean, there's so many reasons why we want to help those parts of you, but obviously, too, you're not going to be doing much evolved communicating if you're in that, if any part of you is in that state. So let's find those little parts of you. They could be from a past life, they could be from very recent or current life, doesn't matter. So just imagine, let's say one part of you, we'll do one part at a time, and then we'll do multiple parts. But again, you don't have to feel the trauma. Just imagine like on a little chair or in a little garden out in front of you, a traumatized part of you, and just say hi from afar. You don't feel what she or he is feeling, but just say hi and just say, hey, I'm going to give you a little healing. You know, you deserve a healing. And then just use gold light and just comb through this little mini you, comb through the auras and groundings and chakras and everything, just gold light, like a big gold shower. So you don't have to worry about a detailed healing, just lots of gold light for this overwhelmed, traumatized part of you. And you can do like a tricolor soak with this part of you, like bring up red earth energy and soak all this part of you with red earth energy. Bring that down, bring up orange earth energy, and soak this traumatized part of you with orange earth energy. Bring that down, bring up yellow earth energy, and soak this part of you with yellow earth energy. And you can leave up whichever color of earth energy you want and just use lots of gold light. And once that part of you is healed, it should dissolve and kind of come back to you just as a regular part of your energy that's not traumatized anymore. But if that's not happening yet, just say, angels, help me finish healing this part of me. And then let's do that with, if you feel okay, let's do that with multiple parts of you at once. But you can keep doing one at a time if you prefer. So just make a couple little gardens out in front of you and put, you know, little subconscious traumatized parts of you, one in each little happy garden, and say, hi, you deserve a healing. And then just lots of gold light for each of these little traumatized parts of you. And again, these parts of you can be subconscious, that's fine, it doesn't matter. And just lots of gold light. You could say, angels, help me heal these parts of me. And then red earth energy for all these parts of you, orange earth energy for all these parts of you, yellow earth energy, and then lots of gold light. And as they heal, they just sort of dissolve and come back to you as your present time regular energy. If you have any leftover parts that aren't fully repaired and come back to you, just say, angels, can you help me heal these parts of me? Just take a few deep breaths. You can give yourself a little massage somewhere on your hand or your neck or your shoulders or anywhere. Wiggle your toes. Deep breaths. I'm going to look at another sample person, so I'll be quiet for a little bit. But anyway, good job with that. That was healing the traumatized parts of you. We did first one at a time, and then we did multiple at once. And you could do that every day if you want. I mean, it's a pretty gentle thing to do. Okay, I was looking at a sample person, and her communications, she's the mom of a client of mine, and so I give both of them healings a lot. And so this mom, the part of her that communicates to others is sort of a fence jumping part of her, an invasive part of her. So she tends to communicate things that are kind of triggering to other people, kind of like busybody kind of communications. A lot of complaining, a lot of just, why don't you do this? Why aren't you doing this? Blah, blah, blah. That's not the only part of her that exists. I mean, a lot of us, we have different parts of us at any given time. And so the part of her that's more mellow and grateful and kind of creative and thoughtful and peaceful is not generally the part of her that is talking to other people. It's sort of this sort of busybody, dissatisfied part of her that has the microphone all the time. So those are kind of two problems. One problem is that she does have this dissatisfied, invasive part of her causing problems for herself and others. But then the other part of the problem is then the people around her and herself, she doesn't get to communicate from this more mellow, centered place. Which part of her is that? So we're going to melt inner walls so that you can sort of so you can work on being more coherent. So the part of you, because for example, with that sample person, the healthy centered part of her really isn't aware of this complainer, invasive part of her. The people around her are aware of that because that's the part of her that talks all the time. But the mellow, more evolved part of her is not really aware of this other part of her, which is so significant. And that's because there's this wall of like avoidance and denial in between. And so the powerful part of her is not healing this sort of dissatisfied part of her. And so that's silly, right? It'd be better if she could, to a level that's healthy, melt that wall so that the strong part of her can then nurture and protect and guide the weaker, more imbalanced part of her, right? And so that would change her communications to others, but it would change her life, change how she feels, change how strong she is, how stable she is, right? So let's do that. So of course your intention is to do it to the extent that's healthy and gentle to do right now, right? But you want to imagine the most strong and balanced part of you, and then the other parts of you. And just imagine, if there are little walls in between this powerful, strong part of you and all the other parts of you, the less powerful, less strong parts of you, right? And just melt those walls. And again, you're just going to be aware of what's good to melt right now, right? But just imagine these walls in between the strong, balanced part of you and these imbalanced parts of you, and just melt the walls. So that way, this strong part of you is more aware of the weaknesses and more able to heal them. Because if you're so busy ignoring them, you can't heal them. So we're melting inner walls to the extent that's healthy and gentle so that the strong part of you can heal the weaker parts of you. And so just imagine the strong part of you and the weaker parts, and just kind of help them, you know, run gold light through both parts and run gold light through the wall in between them. And take your time. Don't force anything. And you can let your angels maybe show you like a big gold check mark when you've done enough to the healthy and gentle level. All right, good job. So what was that? That was melting your inner wall so that the stronger part of you can be aware of and naturally, on an ongoing basis, heal the weaker parts of you. And that, of course, tends to affect your communications, not only with others, but just your own thoughts and how peaceful and centered and balanced you are. So that's good. I'm going to look at another sample person, so I'll be quiet for a minute. Okay, so I was looking at a sample person and I couldn't figure out why they kept freaking out. They were thinking about it's a younger girl who's like preteen, and a lot of her thoughts, at least subconsciously, are about her mom and her grandma, who she's around all the time, and trying to get them to be happier and them to be happier. And it's like a strong preoccupation for her, like really, really strong. And so I was looking at that, and it looks like it's a fear thing, like she's stuck in fear. And she's afraid of how, you know, stressed out her mom and her grandma are. So let's clear fear, because fear can really affect your own thoughts and your communication with others, your ability to hear your angels, everything. Fear has it's interesting because, you know, it's a totally different chakra. You know, here's communications with yourself and others, peace of mind, hearing angels, etc., and also fifth layer. And first chakra is the one that flips out with fear. And first layer of your aura is right up against your skin. So it's a totally different part of the energy system, but it's one that just kind of, you know, if this isn't right, it can sort of short circuit everything. So, so yeah, let's clear fear. Clearing fear also helps with abundance and safety, feeling safe. Helps with courage, all the first chakra abilities, courage, safety, abundance. Because fear is a blockage or damage to the first chakra and or the first layer of the aura. Okay, so what is a fun way to clear fear? Let me look. Let's do that gold box exercise again. We did it just maybe 20 minutes ago to clear thoughts that you're repressing or avoiding. Because if you put it in the box and put the top on it, it's like, it sort of seems safer if you're really busy avoiding something. So let's do that to clear fear. That could be cute. So you just imagine a bunch of gold boxes out in front of you that have lids, and then, you know, you take the lid off, you shove into the boxes, all your gold boxes, all that you're afraid of. And so, you know, as many boxes as you need. Maybe you need some really big boxes. Put all your fears in all the boxes, and then put the gold tops on really fast. So whatever energy blocks are causing you fear are in the boxes, and then if they're yours, you could just blow them all up. You could say, angels, help me clear these, and then you could just melt them with gold light. So keep the lid on. You don't have to keep the lid on, but it might be more fun for you, more comforting. So then just use gold light and melt these fear boxes. They're just energy blocks in the boxes. So let's do that again. Make a bunch of gold boxes out in front of you with the lids off, and put in the boxes all the energy blocks that are causing you fear, anxiety, worry, yada, 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 right? And then put the tops on all the boxes. I say, angels, can you help me clear all these? And then if you're healing yourself, you could just blow them up, or you can melt them with gold light. So lots of gold light and melt your fear boxes. Good job, good job, good job. Now, in addition to energy blocks causing fear, you can have little invasive beings that cause fear as well, just because they know, like, that it's your first chakra, and they know how to kind of like push your buttons a little bit to cause fear. So they're not, I mean, you're the big being, really. You're so much bigger than these little invasive beings that are causing you fear. It's kind of ironic. But anyway, so we can clear the invasive beings causing fear. What's a fun way to do that? You can just make a little, an area, imagine an area out in front of you with like little gold border all around it, and just put all the invasive beings that are causing you fear, or causing you to feel fear. Put the invasive beings, imagine them, or imagine copies of the beings, whatever works for you, but just imagine, they probably just look like little balls of light, you know, little lint balls and stuff. Just put all the fear beings out in front of you into the gold area, and just say, angels, can you recycle all these beings? Excuse me. And then you can put more of them out. If you have any more, just, you know, they could just be like far away from you, but just kind of corded to you. So just round up all your fear beings and just put them all in that little area, the gold area, and just say, angels, can you recycle all these beings? And one more time, you can imagine like a mini you, and then all the beings that are causing fear, like within you or far away from you but corded to you, and just round them all up and say, angels, can you recycle all these? All right, good job. So another thing that can sort of get in the way of your sort of healthy, liberated thought and communicating would be STEBs. So STEBs are stubborn triggered energy blocks. That's what this stands for. And even with all the cool energy clearing techniques we've been doing, you can have energy blocks that are still triggered and not clearing. And that could be because just people are corded to them. So there's just a special little process that you do to clear those, even if they haven't cleared yet. So they're probably in front of you if they're triggered, in front of, you know, your aura layers in front here, or maybe up top right here. But you can just imagine, you know, pile out copies of all these stubborn triggered energy blocks. Imagine copies of them out in front of you. Bring up red earth energy, soak them all in red earth energy, and use gold light and melt away cords going into these energy blocks. And that's the important part, is to melt away the cords going into them. And then if you're healing yourself, you can just blow up the energy blocks or melt them with gold light. And just take your time, keep breathing. Deep breath. And you may feel a little constricted right now, which is okay. It's just because you're trying to clear stuff that's a little stuck. So stick with it, don't freak out. Just melt the stubborn triggered energy blocks. Deep breath. And let's do another batch of those, okay? So stubborn triggered energy blocks, just put copies of those out in front of you and bring up red earth energy, soak them all, and then gold light, and just melt away all the cords going into these blocks. And then melt the blocks with gold light, or blow them up if you're healing yourself. You can say, angels, help me clear these. All right, good job, good job. Woo, 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 woo. I'm going to look again at a sample person. So I mentioned in the intro briefly where mindful communication involves not really saying everything that you think, but assessing how open your listener is to hearing what you want to say. I mean, there could be times where you just need to say what you need to say, whether or not they're open to it, and you just are aware that it's going to cause some kind of a conflict because what you want to say is not what they want to hear. But there are other times when, you know, there are different ways to communicate something that's more sensitive, like on a spirit level, on the astral, with the angel help, yada, yada. So, you know, mindful communicating is that awareness, that intuitive awareness of what people are open to hearing. And taking that into account. But sometimes what you want to say and what people want to hear is not aligned, and that may be sort of a discouraging thing for you as a speaker, right? Because you want to talk about certain things and say things in a certain way, and you know it's not going to work out, so you don't. But so you kind of get blocked up with all the stuff that you wish you could say, but you know you better not. Right? So what do you do with that stuff, right? You think it, but you're not going to say it, you know? That can kind of build up. So it's not wrong to intuitively assess, you know, and take your own best interests into account, you know, and so maybe there are things that are really better left unsaid, so to speak, right? But you don't want to store that up and kind of hold your breath about it, right? So let's, you can go ahead and make gold blankets out in front of you, or gold boxes, whatever you want, and put into it everything that you didn't say, you felt you couldn't say, you didn't want to say, you know, everything that's sort of bottled up that, you know, you didn't say, right? And just make big, big piles of all the unsaid stuff. And just say, angels, can you help me clear all this? And that way, you know, if you shouldn't clear some of it, it won't clear, you know, whatever. Your angels will help with that, right? And so bring up red earth energy, soak it all in the red earth energy and gold light, and just melt it all away. All this backed up stuff that you didn't say, but you kind of got a little stuck about it. So melt away your unsaid but backed up stuff. So you didn't kind of let go of it at the time, it just stuck around and blocked you out. So we're melting away your unsaid but stored communications. So that's kind of interesting. Let me write that one down, make sure it's in the summary. All right, good job. I think the last thing, or one of the last things I want to do in this healing is to repair and unblock the telepathic mesh, which is in the front of the fifth layer of the aura. So fifth chakra, throat chakra, and fifth layer of the aura, counting from close to the skin, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So fifth layer has to do with communication with yourself and others, including your own thoughts, including hearing angels. And there's a part in front of your fifth layer that's like a gold mesh, ideally, but it can be all bashed up and blackened and corded and locked up. So we're going to repair and unblock your telepathic mesh. So that it's just this flowing, nice, repaired gold mesh without cords from people, just nice. It's just a nice flowing part of your fifth layer of your aura, okay? So you just imagine that part of, it's like pretty much directly in front of your throat in your fifth layer, and just go ahead and heal it. Use lots of gold light. Just notice if there are rips in it, if there are a lot of cords, if it's sort of blackened. And just use lots of gold light, gold fire, gold water. Melt away the cords going into it, melt away the energy blocks around it. You can give it its own grounding, like a nice blue grounding, light blue, medium blue grounding for this telepathic mesh. And if you're healing someone else, you don't make grounding for that person. You just encourage them to ground their own telepathic mesh. Lots of gold light. Again, you're melting away cords going into it, and you're just melting away all the blocked energy around it and letting it repair so there are no rips in it. And then you can just do a little extra for the whole fifth layer all the way around. Lots of gold light. Unblocking and healing your fifth layer. Behind you, in front of you, all around. And then fifth chakra, just a little extra. Throat chakra, round opening in the front, round opening in the back, cylinder shape, just like this. Medium blue or light blue is a nice color for your throat chakra. You have 2 throat chakras, you know, fifth chakra of your astral body, fifth chakra of your physical body. You can heal them both at once. Just imagine one inside the other if you want, and just so it looks like one chakra, but it's really both your fifth chakras. And you're just repairing and unblocking with gold light. All right. And you can just quickly sort of imagine all your 7 chakras, both astral and physical, both sets, and just kind of let them all relax and flow. And your filaments in between the 7th and 7th, there's a filament. 6 and 6, there's a filament. Filament meaning a cord that's good, that's yours. So these are your chakra filaments, just cords that connect your astral major chakra to your physical major chakra. You can just run gold light through them, let them unblock and repair and heal. And you can just imagine your chakras, like the astral ones inside the physical ones. You redo your gold buffers again, redo your grounding, unblock your grounding, make sure it's nice and wide and flowing. So we repaired the telepathic mesh, and then we did a little extra with 5th layer and 5th chakra, just healing and repairing. And then we did all chakras, all major chakras, and then we did this chakra filaments in between the major chakras. All right. So you can just say, as you wrap up, just say, angels, can you please, help me in my communications. Please give me a healing. All right, good job. Woo, woo, we did it. That's a healing. Woo, 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 woo. All right, so I will catch up on the chat comments for maybe 20 minutes or so. And if you have a comment on what this healing was like for you and you want to text chat it right now, that could be interesting. You could put context, like if I healed you or you just healed yourself or both. If you have a follow-up question about communication or about something I said in this healing, if I have time, I'll get to it. And if I don't have time to get to your question, you can just repost it under any video at any time, and I'll post a reply to your video comment when I have time. So let's see, going back to catch up on comments. Somebody says, I want to drink what you are having. I don't know what that means. I'm having green tea. Is that what you mean? Someone says, thank you for sending out healing and light today. Janet, you are a blessing. You are XO. Thank you so much. You're a sweetie. I appreciate that. Someone says, I felt a lot lighter around my 3rd chakra after you did chakra repair. Yeah. Yeah, you didn't have chakra damage, but you did have a lot gummed up in the front of your 3rd chakra. So part of when we were doing repair, we kept unblocking so the repair would work better, and we kept unblocking more, and so the repair would go better. So I think just that persistent unblocking is what that helped your 3rd chakra. Someone says, and you also say, what are tree fairies? Tree fairies are spirits that take care of the trees. They're really nice. They're cute. They're just gentle little nature spirits, non-invasive, hang out with trees. Someone says, thanks for this healing. And the last one, I think the recent healings have helped me intuit more ways to market myself as a therapist using social media, networking, pro bono services. Thanks, Janet. Well, good, thanks. Yeah, the last healing was on logic and problem solving, which, ironically, part of how that logic and problem solve, because I give myself the healing as well as I'm healing everyone else, and part of how it helped me is I could hear my angels better, which is odd because you think, well, okay, why is working logic going to help you hear your angels better? But if a lot of times my angels are trying to explain a solution to me, like do this first and then do that, or do this at the same time as that, or don't put that off till tomorrow, do that now because of this. And if I'm not open to the logic of the reasoning of it, then I'm less likely to be conscious of what they're saying. I'm more likely to just kind of shove it aside like, oh, too complicated, you know, and so I won't consciously hear it. So by working the unblocking so that I could be more open to logical thought and reasoning, it helped me to be open to a whole bunch more conscious angel advice. So that was a surprise benefit for me of working logic. So that was interesting. And those, of course, those 2 healings, that was the June twin set. Those 2 healings are, of course, recorded live streams, so you can work those if you want. And the healing summaries are in the comment section, so you can jump around and do little parts. Someone says, hi, Janet, I turned 40, tuned in 40 minutes late, but notice my back pain has diminished a lot, and you got the healing. I don't fear that every move will trigger a spasm. Oh, wonderful. Is that aura chakra issue as much as a physical problem? Thanks. You had a lot of aura bruising piled up back here, behind your shoulders and behind your lower back. Like layers 4, 3, 2, 1 had a lot of aura bruising. So we did a lot of aura grounding and blocking, and then we melted aura bruising as part of the aura repair, you know, right after we repaired the rips and the auras as part of aura repair. So I think it was that. It was melting the aura bruising that did most of it. And then you just were a lot more present. And then you can just sense, like, intuitively, oh, wow, I have, you know, I'm not about to injure myself. I feel like I have more flexibility, more, you know, I'm not like on the edge of injury. That was just basically getting rid of the aura bruising in layers 4 through 2, 1 behind you. So, yes, so it was an aura issue. So this is invasive beings just have fingers on sensitive buttons. Yes, invasive beings, yeah. Because people are very predictable, you know, I mean, well, because chakras, you know, it's just easy for an invasive being to kind of see how to work you. Even if they're not that smart, you know, that's just sort of easy. You know, whatever. It is what it is. It just means that, you know, you heal yourself, and the more present you are, the less that is an issue. So, someone says, hi, Janet, I healed myself. Yes, I did not heal you. I am currently helping my daughter toilet train. Well, good for you, but it's not going so easily. Am I communicating in a way that is making this process harder for her? Thank you. She has some past life fears, not about toilet training, but just in general, that are like sort of giving her mental blocks about what you're saying. So you could do like blanket exercise with her on a spirit level and just, you know, let her spirit put on the blanket all the blocked energy in the way of her moving forward with potty training. And then just, you know, help her to melt the blocks with gold light. And you could do that, you know, even 2 or 3 times a day. Just help her with blanket exercise. First, you know, ground yourself, do your own blanket exercise. What's triggering for you as you train your daughter with potty training. But then, you know, do a blanket for her and just suggest, help her to, you know, pile onto it all the yucky stuff that's in the way of you getting good at potty training. And then, you know, help her to melt it with gold light. But yeah, it's just past life fears that are in the way of her understanding what you're saying. So it's like you're kind of like Charlie Brown's teacher going wah, 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 and she's like trying to understand, but she's not really getting what you're saying. just because of all the blocks in the way. So I hope that helps. So yeah, it's not your communicating, it's her ability to hear because she has a lot of baggage in the way. Someone says, I feel so mellow, but a little tired. How did my dad do? Well, first of all, why are you tired? I mean, you count too, you know. Your third and your seventh are a little blocked. Physical, not astral. Not a boundary issue with anybody. It's just blocked, third and seventh. How did your dad do? I noticed him a little bit when I was, at one point, I was helping him on block. I had a realization that he may be on the autism spectrum, which kind of blew my mind, and he has a hard time with communication. Thanks, Janet. He does have a lot of past life blocks in the way of communication. Like he had a couple lives where people just kept shutting him down. You know, like abusive spouses, abusive parents, abusive authority figures, just kind of being all hierarchical with him. So he liked the gold boxes, clearing by putting them into boxes. That he wasn't the sample person on that, but a different somebody's husband was the sample person on that one. But he liked those. Let's see. Somebody says, you healed me and I feel a lot better once we healed our basics. Yeah, the 4 essentials. I have been doing this all week and finally felt the relief. I felt stuck. The 5th layer caught my attention and clearing out repressions. Thank you. How did I do? Well, I guess the question behind the question is, well, if I'm working my basics all week, why did it feel so much better when you did it, Janet, and not why didn't I get the relief I wanted during the week? So your aura repair of your Wei Qi auras and regular auras was working fine all week. Your creative ring repair was not working fine all week. You had energy like wrapped around the rings, and so the gold light wasn't penetrating, it was sort of bouncing out. So it's like you had these broken rings that were broken gold rings that were surrounded in bubble wrap, and so then you were using gold light outside the bubble wrap, and the bubble wrap just bounced off your gold light, and so your creative ring stayed broken all week. So I guess, you know, unblock the rings, take off and be like, okay, is the gold light actually getting to the rings, permeating to the rings? You know, maybe like put your fingers like within the rings and just really, you know, make sure nothing's in between the gold light and the rings, you know, so they actually fully repair. And also the breaks tend to be, I mean, they could be anywhere in the ring, but they tend to be on the sides and the front and the back, you know. So if it was a clock like 12 and 6 and 3 and 9, that tends to be where the breaks are going to be. So your chakra repair was working during the week. Your grounding was working pretty well during the week. So I think it was mostly your creative ring repair that was not working this week. So if that helps. You felt stuck. I mean, creative rings was part of it. You did keep getting some wax in the back of your, like behind, above, like behind your left ear. You kept getting wax there, but then you would repair them, but they would get whacked again. So I think there was somebody who was pretty persistent. So you could imagine that person, even if you don't know who they are, and just, you know, talk to them about their angels, and so that they can kind of get centered and leave you alone for a while. I hope that helps. Someone says, I feel very light and relaxed. Oh, good. You got the healing. My grounding was so congested, but now feels very free flowing. Thanks, Janet. How did I and my spouse do? Communication is a big issue for both of us. I have an unorthodox way of communicating, and she is too orthodox. um, I would say that sometimes when she communicates, she puts energy in your aura. So she dumps energy in your aura because she has this sense of being ignored, like not being recognized for what she's saying, like her ideas. And that she felt before she even knew you. So it's not necessarily a situation that you have created. But what I would say is you could work flower healing with her on a spirit level to be like, I acknowledge what you're saying. You know, I respect your ideas, and just have your angels bless the message flowers and put them at a respectful distance in front of her. And just, you know, do that regularly, and then try to validate what she's saying versus, because you tend to, like, if she'll say something, whether she's invasive or not, sometimes you kind of are like, yeah, but blah, 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 blah. And so you don't really recognize the idea that she is saying, which then just causes her to start dumping it into your space to kind of force you to recognize it. So you guys could take classes on the astral too that could help communication with angels. You know, you can take angel classes about that, so you could suggest that to her spirit, like, hey, let's take classes with the angels, so to help our communication. But she did great. You did great in the healing. But yeah, you can clear out stuff that she's dumped in your aura. People in her family tend to, you know, be very dumpy with communicating, so she's like incredibly gentle compared to her family members. But anyway, okay, someone else says, hi Janet, thank you for an awesome healing. About melting energy blocks, is it better to think about the issue so it can get triggered and easier to clear, opposite of boxes? I feel I need to be triggered. Yeah, well, it's up to you. I mean, the boxes, I just noticed that some people get so freaked out and they so want to avoid something that they don't even want to do blanket exercise with it, because they're like, Janet, I'm really trying hard to avoid this thing. What are you doing? You know? So like the gold box exercise was like a compromise with those people. But if you're more motivated, then you might like seeing what you've been avoiding out in front of you, and you might like to feel like, oh my god, yeah, that does freak me out, wow, you know. So you might kind of geek out about blanket exercise with what you're avoiding, so then you don't need gold box exercise. Gold box exercise, if it's not fun for you, don't do it, you know. Do gold blanket exercise instead. Someone says, that was so nice. I snoozed through most of the healing. Oh, good. I mean, good, and if it was restful sleep, that's nice. How did my daughters do with it? And you mentioned their names and ages. Yes, and I have that in front of me too. Okay, the younger one, she totally gets it, and she's like, yeah, when are we gonna do the next one? She's like into it. The older child of yours, she was like, and I'm like, well, what didn't you like about the healing? And she didn't like the gold blocks exercise because the gold boxes were too pretty, And she said, I told her to blow up these pretty gold boxes, and if they're pretty, she's not going to blow them up. So her angels gave a workaround with her, and she just did gold blankets instead. But it was funny. But they both cleared a lot. It's just that your older daughters have some thoughtful objections to the gold box exercise. Oh, Bambi. It's life with cats. I have a cat vomiting right next to me. That's what they don't maybe emphasize enough when they try to get you to adopt cats. Anyway, so they did fine. They're just cute. Yes, someone says I healed both of you. Yes, of course I did. Someone says, can you give me a checkup? Sure. It would be nice if you had put your initials. I didn't say that though. You probably don't know that, but because the YouTube ID, sometimes it's just so people pick an ID that's going to kind of hide themselves and give themselves privacy, but then I'm trying to see them using the ID, so whatever, but I'll work it. It looks like you're in chakra 7654, so you're present in your upper chakras. Yeah, I would say, I don't know if you followed along the whole way. You don't have chakra damage, but you do have creative ring damage and aura damage still. Less aura damage than you did have, so maybe you did follow along. But still some aura damage like in the upper part right here. So I would redo the aura repair part and then redo the creative ring repair part. It looks like you did both. You just need to do them more. And then you could just do extra gold light in chakras 3, 2, and 1, because they're a little too blocked still. But I think if you repair up here, that'll kind of be less overwhelming and help you relax more and get a little more present. But your grounding's nice right now. So a lot is working. I would just redo creative ring repair and aura repair. So hope that makes sense. Someone says, great healing, thank you. Oh, and I am aware my timer went off, so I need to hurry up. Someone says, I loved the place in the listening versus speaking part. I love the place in the listening versus speaking part. I will now work on getting insight into whether people are in a place to receive a message. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Is there a shortcut for that? Sure. Yeah. You could do it visually, like, okay, this is what I want to say, like as a vibrational range. And then this is what someone is open to hearing, and be like, whoa, that doesn't match up. You know, like as if it's a rainbow, and like say what you want to say, you know, I mean, it's just a hypothetical way of showing the range, but like say what you want to say is like purple and blue, and what they are open to hearing is only red and orange. So it's like, oh my goodness. You know? So then maybe you can clear some energy blocks, and that way you have more of a flexible range of how you can say what you want to say. And so then you can say it, you know, say really what you want to say, but say it in the red and orange vibration, so it matches up with what they're open to hearing. So however visually you want to see if it matches or it doesn't match, and then clear energy blocks until you're flexible enough in your communications so that you can say what you want to say, but in the vibration that they're open to hearing. Hope that makes sense. And also just keep in mind that spirit level communication sometimes is more effective. So like with message flowers, with the angels' help, towards the end of the towards the end of the resolve conflict boundary issues video, there we do message flowers, and you just imagine they're like healing flowers, but you put the message of what you want to say in it, and then you have the angels check it so that it doesn't have your energy. It's just sort of this neutral communications energy, but it's the right vibration that they're open to hearing. And then you imagine the edge of their aura and a respectful distance in front of that, so you're not like dumping it in them, and you just lay it out respectfully in front of them enough distance, and then just say, hey, the angel checked this, here you go. if you want it. And so you say it on an energy level without the conscious words, because a lot of times people are much more evolved on a subconscious spirit level than they are with their conscious mind. So that's always an option too. Someone says, would you remind me where our Wei Qi auras are? Okay, they're all around you. So they come and go with you as a spirit. So it's like, it's in the same place as your astral body aura. So it's just all around you. All the auras are all around you. They wrap around you like a giant bubble, all around. So that's where they are. They overlap. They're just all in the same place. It's just like layers of protection that you have. Overlapping force fields. They look like, the Wei Qi auras look like gold mist, like a field of gold mist. And it just helps protect you. Someone says, what is the main thing my angels want me to work on in communication with my son? And you mentioned his name. They say that not saying is as important as what you say. So what you don't say is as important as how you say what you say. And again, you can look at like, okay, this is what you're trying to say to him. This is what he's open to hearing. And then, realize there's a giant disconnect and just clear your blocks so that you're not trying to deliver communication that he's not open to hearing, because that creates conflict. So yeah, just look at what he's open to hearing and what you've been trying to say to him, and clear your blocks so that you're able to communicate at a level that he's open to hearing. And sometimes not saying is very powerful. Just your presence, it doesn't always have to be said. It just, like, if you change your energy, it's sort of a communication in and of itself, kind of. So I hope that makes sense. Someone says, thanks for the healing. Some frustration about communicating with parents about situation with rental property, not understanding the upset I'm sensing. Yeah, I mean, you haven't described the situation exactly, but it does look like your dad in particular is sort of like, "Wah!" He's like very, very triggered. So maybe just ask him to work with his angels, because he has chakra damage and creative ring damage and aura damage right now. So he's just kind of flipped out, period. Yeah, just maybe remind both of them to, that they have angels, and just be like, hey, I know you're really frustrated, and, just if you could let your angels repair your energy, you deserve a healing. You deserve healing. Because it looks like they both just need to get repaired for a while. Just hope that makes sense. Someone says, hi, Janet, thank you. I have an issue with enjoying communicating and presenting my work, which is a daily part of my job and really elevates my stress level. It's more related to anticipating responses. Your fifth layer has an inbox, and that's not helpful. Like an inbox, like in, I don't know, like a sort of some metaphorical desk at work, right? And there's an inbox where people will put papers, for you to work on, right? And so your fifth layer shouldn't have an inbox, where people can put their thoughts and ideas and feedback, because that's in your space. It's very, it'll block you up and make you overly preoccupied with what other people are thinking, right? But that's what happens. They can plug right into your telepathic mesh. They can put, their thoughts and feedback right in your aura. So when you're presenting, it makes it like happen like three times more than it already does. So I would just say, keep clearing out your fifth layer and your telepathic mesh, and just get rid of like your inboxes. Don't let your coworkers and your superior, your bosses, dump in your space. If you want, make a gold inbox somewhere with your angels. Have your angels make one for you, like 20 feet outside of your space, so that if they need to dump some ideas, it's not in your space, in your mind. Because that's very overwhelming if people put their ideas literally into your mind. So I hope that makes sense. So you can make an inbox with your angels outside of your space, far outside of your space, and then get rid of any inboxes and any dumped thoughts and ideas and any cords going into your telepathic mesh area. Because when you're presenting, you need to be able to hear yourself think. You need to be able to feel your own energy, feel your thoughts, feel yourself, feel your body, feel your feet, feel your legs, stuff like that. So hope that helps. Someone says, hi again, could you please clarify what my angels want me to do about finding work and a place to live in Ireland? I think they are saying just wait and it will become clear in a few months. Thank you. Yeah, you're right. You're working on it on the astral first. Like, things have to be figured out on the astral. Big things get figured out on the astral first before you realize you're basically just remembering what you already figured out on the astral. That's how people generally figure out bigger things consciously. They're not really figuring things out consciously. They're remembering how they figured it out with their angels in their sleep. So you're like halfway through figuring all that out in your sleep with your angels. So it's premature to like realize it all consciously because it's not all done. So you can think about it, but just realize it's not figured out yet. Like, half of it is, half of it's not. And there's a point at which enough of it's figured out that it would be productive to start remembering and realizing. But at this point, it's a little premature. So you could just, enjoy like thinking about it, but don't expect any level of clarity right now. Let's hope that makes sense. Someone says, thank you, Janet. You're welcome. Someone says, thanks for the feedback about my daughter's thoughtful objections, LOL, about younger daughter. I had checked on her at the beginning of the healing and she was looking like a very eager student. Yeah, she's funny. Yeah, and the other one's like, I'm not going to destroy a pretty box, Janet. And it's pretty and it's gold. Like, why am I going to blow it up? That's a weird exercise. Yes, you don't have to destroy pretty sparkly things if you don't want. You can make a blanket instead and make it not pretty and sparkly. And then just melt things on the blanket. You don't have to blow up pretty things. All right, cool. Well, you guys are awesome. Happy summer. It's summer for pretty much all my clients now. So I hope it's halfway decent for you. I'm not one who's like, oh, I hope you're having the time of your life today. I hope you're hugging a tree today, because maybe you are and maybe you're like really not. And you're, hip deep in like 7 problems, and so the expectation that you're, singing and dancing and hugging trees might really kind of be annoying, make you feel like what you're doing isn't what you should be doing right now. So I'm not like that. So whatever day you're having, I hope you're just being fabulous, whatever you're doing. Yeah, so we're going to do another healing in 2 days and another healing in 2 days. That's the triplet set. So you're awesome. And that's all I want to say. So I will show 2 out of 3 of my beagles before I sign off. The other one, Abel, the one that was having the fight with the pillow, I'll open his carrier, but he takes his time coming out sometimes, so you might not see him before we stop the filming. All right, so I'll let out Abel, the pillow fighter, first, and we'll see if he comes around so you can see him. Oh, wait. First, the realities of living with cats and dogs. I have to clean up the cat vomit before I let the dogs out, because otherwise the dogs eat the cat vomit. That is my life. All right, cleaning up cat vomit on live stream. This is a real slice of my life here for you. Easy's all bummed because he's not going to get to eat any cat vomit. Oh my God. I know. Calm down. Okay, so that's Daisy with her fashionable onesie. She's wearing a baby onesie because she needs it because she leaks, and so I put a pad inside her onesie to keep her from leaking all over the place. And that's Izzy, all disappointed that I just cleaned up the cat vomit, so he can't eat any. And like I said, Abel, who was busy fighting with his pillows earlier, is too sleepy to get up right now, so you can't see him. All right, take care. You're awesome. If you want, I'll be doing the healing in 2 days.